I believe language is very important.
While I'm not overly politically correct, words definitely matter.
What is appropriate language and what isn't, and also why. Why it is stigmatizing and the preferred language.
Studies show doctors are more likely to assign blame when someone is referred to as a substance abuser versus a person with substance use disorder.
This is my passion to do what I do for work, supporting others. I'm a certified addiction recovery coach since 2015. I used to see people actively using homeless, active addiction out on the street. I never thought that would become my story, and that became my story. I ended up getting in a car accident and getting prescribed OxyContin, which in the end led to a heroin addiction. Selling my house, losing custody of my children, multiple arrests, in and out of the criminal justice system, in and out of jail, 150 detoxes, and just it was a cycle that I was stuck in for 12 years. Today, I have a nonprofit called Community Program for Addiction Recovery, and I'm the coordinator, co-founder, and currently in partnership with the Worcester Police Department, and we are an addiction recovery outreach program. When people hear the word addict, they automatically think, junkie, homeless, prostitute. You're really labeling and putting a negative thought about someone versus saying an individual in active addiction or someone actively using. Those words are very, very important. A person in recovery rather than, stigmatizing them.
We want to get away from using words like addict. So it's a person with substance use disorder. By recovery-oriented language, we always put the person first, before the disease, before the substance use disorder. A disease is what they have, not who they are.
It really was hurtful to label me as a junkie, an addict, homeless junkie, someone who was out there. And, I was still a mom when I was out there. Doesn't mean that I had my kids with me, but I was still a mom and I was still someone's daughter.
Using the words clean and dirty when it comes to urine tests. You would never say when somebody had a test for diabetes, you would never say that their blood is dirty with sugar. So we want to get away from using clean and dirty and instead saying, it's a positive test or it's not positive test right now. There are drugs or there are no drugs detected.
A particular phrase that I have, that I'm training myself, and the problem is I've been saying it for so long, is the phrase clean. Are you going to be clean for me? Can you give me a negative test? Are you substance free? And I have to watch some of my language.
Sometimes people with substance use disorder will refer themselves as junkies, and we can't change what they say about themselves. But I think providers should possibly just say, and what else are you? Kind of remind them that they're a person, not just a disease. It really has to start at the top. It should be in the policies, so it should be a written policy, and staff should be reminded which language to use. And if they don't use that language, just kind of a gentle prod and say, how can you rephrase that?
One of the terms that I hear a lot is frequent flyer. So rather than saying frequent flyer, how about friendly face?
The people that need the help, the participants I call them, not even defendants in our recovery court, they deserve that. Because the struggle that they have is enormous, and no one wants to hear that they're an addict, or they are unclean, or that they have, even relapse is a tough word. And Rebecca has been really front and center in saying, there's a better way to do this, and she's right. And I'm an old dog. It's hard to teach me new tricks.
Even though I've been using the positive language for many years now, sometimes I slip, and sometimes I have to correct myself. Sometimes providers have corrected me. I'll be conducting a training and I'll use the word addict, and they will look at me and say person with addiction, and I always say I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Thank you for bringing that up.
Words and language matters, and we all have to take great pains, I think, to sort of make that part of our everyday vocabulary.
It's going to be difficult to integrate the more positive language into our conversations with clients, but I think with practice, it will become second nature for people.
Every life is worth it, no matter how many times it takes. Every life is worth it.